Hello friends, for the session 2026-27 I am going to start the class 10th maths chapter 1 real numbers. So we will start the introduction of this chapter 1 real numbers. So a real number, how we can define real number? It is the union of rational numbers and irrational numbers. These numbers can be represented on the number line. These numbers can be positive or negative. Then rational numbers, we can define a number that can be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are integers. P and Q must be integers and Q not equal to 0 is called rational numbers. And examples of rational numbers are 0, 1, minus 3, 4, 3.5, 4.20, 8.1212. So if 0 we can write 0 upon 1, 1 we can write 1 upon 1, that is minus 3 upon 1, 0 upon 1 that is whole numbers, 1 upon 1 that is natural numbers, minus 3 upon 1 that is integers. Then 3.5 is a decimal terminating decimal numbers, and 4.20 is also terminating decimal numbers. So and 8.21212 are the non-terminating decimal numbers. So natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, terminating decimals and non-terminating decimals and recurring decimals are the examples of rational numbers. Then irrational numbers, how we can define irrational numbers? Irrational numbers, the numbers that cannot be expressed in the form of P upon Q. The numbers that cannot be expressed in the form of P upon Q, where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0, is called irrational numbers. Examples of irrational numbers are under root 2, under root 3, under root 5, under root and pi. These are the examples of irrational numbers. Then how we can easily remember which is rational number and irrational number? Rational numbers are the number which can be written in the form of P upon Q, that is 0 upon we can write, then 1 upon, here we can take 2, 2 upon 1, here 3 up, minus 3 upon 1, here 4 upon 1. In this way we can write this terminating decimal number also and non-terminating decimal number also. All these are the rational numbers. And simply we have to remember that the number which is written under root 2, under root 3, under root 5 are called rational, irrational numbers. Okay? Hello. Just we have seen the introduction of real numbers. First three numbers definition we have seen, that is real number, irrational number, rational numbers. Now we will see next prime numbers, the numbers which have no common factors other than 1 and the number itself are called prime numbers. Prime numbers are, the examples of prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and so on. Prime numbers are the numbers which have only two factors, 1 and the number itself. Remember this thing. And composite numbers, the numbers which have at least one factor other than 1 and the number itself, are called composite numbers. Examples of composite numbers are 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 and so on. It means that we have to remember composite numbers are the numbers which have more than two factors. Then co-prime numbers are the numbers, the set of numbers which don't have any common factors other than 1 are called co-prime numbers. Examples we can say that for example 10 and 13, 50 and 29 like that. One composite number, one prime number. So they have only one common factors. So in this way we can define co-prime numbers. These numbers definitions are important while studying the lesson real numbers. So real numbers means what? It is the union of rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers are the numbers which can be written in the form of P upon Q, that is called as rational numbers. Irrational numbers are the numbers which cannot be written in the form of P upon Q, that is called as irrational numbers. And then prime numbers, we should know. Prime numbers means what? The numbers which have only two factors, that is called as prime numbers. And the composite numbers having more than two factors, and co-prime numbers. All these terms we need, we must know the definitions of all these terms, all these numbers while studying the lesson real numbers, and prove that under root 2 is an irrational numbers, under root 3 is an irrational numbers, under root 5 is an irrational numbers, under root 7 is an irrational numbers. Okay, thank you.